guys, it's me, Megan, and I'm coming to you from my social distancing headquarters home. So, I know a lot of us, especially here in Chicago, have been feeling like, oh my god, this is going crazy. We've been in shelter in place for almost 4 weeks. And yeah, I'm here with you. I'm getting a little cabin fever. It's getting nicer outside, like what I can see in the windows, and so I really want this to be over soon, but I also want everybody to be taking the safe measures. So if I have to stay in here a little bit longer, I get it. It's cool. I'm here for it. But I hope all of you guys are doing well. I hope that this whole coronavirus pandemic didn't really shake you up too much, and if it did, I really feel for you, and I have my best wishes out for you, and let you know Little Up for Design is right here. We're right here for you. So anyways, let's get into what I really wanted to film this video on. And I've been meditating on this for a couple of days now, almost a couple weeks, like maybe about 2 weeks almost. And I was just trying to think, like, what would life be like after all of this is over? And then I also had to think, like, what will my business be like after all this is over? And then it went into like even a bigger scale, which is like, what will the industry be like after this is over? I want to believe that there will be actions that we can take place, that we can have take place in order for us to be able to celebrate again. So yeah, I wanted to make this video. It's very different. Most of our videos are like how to save money here, how to make flowers, or how to put some wedding tips of what to do when you're 4 months out. This one is going to be my more like thoughts and predictions, right? I'm just giving you a disclaimer that I am not an economist, that I'm not, a health professional, I'm not Nostradamus, I'm not, a fortune teller, I'm not, and I could be completely wrong, or I could be right, I don't know, but I would like to, reassure you that there's people in this industry who are thinking about how to have solutions for your events in the future, and so these are what it is. So if you are interested in seeing my 13 event and wedding prediction changes for 2020 post coronavirus, keep watching, guys. So let's talk about number one. So I think that a lot of venues are going to be changing their capacity numbers. I think a lot of venues will start downsizing the amount of people that they allow in. I think if you have a venue that's like 400 guests or 300 guests, they'll probably go to maybe, if 300 guests, let's say they go to 200, or they'll go to 175, something to give them a little bit of room, right? They want your guests to have more room. I think we're gonna still socially distance ourselves in the months to come. So I think this is one way to kind of alleviate that pressure of having a lot of people in the same area, which might be something that affects your wedding party dramatically. If you have a venue that's already set and they go, hey, your guest count is this, but can we cut it to this? You might have that effect hit you personally, but I feel like that's a measure that venues can take in order to help alleviate stress. This also brings me to my prediction number 2, which I feel is gonna be something that can definitely take place, and I feel like a lot of people are going to start wanting to do this anyways. Usually in a wedding, people are trying to max out how many guests can sit at a table, and I think right now what's going to happen is it's going to be the opposite. So it's going to dramatically change your seating charts. Tables that used to fit 10 guests or 11 guests, right, because you're just like squeezing auntie right there. Well, you're going to start making seating charts after this that will probably seat max 7, right? So you're going to give people more room between them. And I think that it's going to be some measure that maybe venues will suggest, also probably caterers would suggest. And I feel like that's something that maybe couples or, planners can start keeping in mind, I guess, because you do want to give, I feel like people are going to want space in between them. So my third prediction is, I think that people are going to start utilizing hand sanitizing stations more. I think there's going to be like hand sanitizing concierge or something. If you've gone on a cruise lately, I know it's a sensitive topic because I wasn't, it's too soon, right? It's weird, it's sensitive, but I was on a cruise last year before all of this happened, and I noticed that on my cruise there was a staff member who was stationed at the front of every dining hall who had hand sanitizer, and they would make a catchy phrase like "washi washi," and people would gravitate towards them and use the hand sanitizer. So I think that's something that can definitely be employed by your caterer, by the venue staff, or by your planning staff even. If you have people coming in from cocktail to reception, that would be a good place to have that person stationed. So my fourth prediction is, I think, and this is kind of an obvious one, there's going to be a lot less out-of-town guests coming to your wedding. I think there's going to, if somebody can't drive there, they might not show up, mainly because travel is really weird right now, and it might be weird for a couple more months. So I wouldn't take it too much of an offense if someone's gonna have to expose themselves. They might be a little bit more wary of attending your wedding. My fifth prediction, I think, is that people might actually start going digital. There might be a lot less tangible exchanging of goods. So what I mean by that is, I think that people are going to take the physical invitation and just do away with it. I think people are going to start going more digital, and I think it's fair. It's a way to kind of ensure that this, piece of paper or something that you would send out to your guests is not going to be contaminated unknowingly. It's got to go through like a couple of stages until it gets to your guests. So it's exchanging of people and exchanging of places. I see a lot of people going more towards digital invitations, and if you save some trees along the way, that's pretty cool too. My sixth prediction is a really quick one, but again, it's gonna go along the terms of travel, but I think there's going to be a downsize probably in destination weddings, which is sad because I love destination weddings. I think it's such a fun experience, but I just don't know if people are going to be really confident in their destination wedding, especially because you're not really sure what this country that you're traveling to is going to be doing. You don't know how clean the country, how clean the place is going to be. If you're going to Bahamas, or if you're going to Europe, if you're going to anywhere, Asia, you just don't know. Different countries have different measures right now, and on top of that, you're going to have to fly there, exchanging airports. I feel like a lot of people are going to be more averse to risking themselves or exposing themselves unnecessarily now. So you might see people downsize their destination weddings, to having, the population might have less, or you might see people changing their minds and just having a local wedding instead, or you might see people reschedule them. So I just think the destination wedding scene is going to be heavily affected. Talking about downsizing, my seventh prediction is that people are going to have virtual and just live streaming weddings instead. I think that might be happening right now while we're here in shelter in place, and I feel like that's going to be something that happens also further down the line when people, even when people are able to come out of their houses. It's just, I feel like there is a lot of economic pressures that are happening on people, and they might just be like, I can't afford to have a wedding and afford to live my life and support my family or support myself or whatever, so people might just opt to have live streaming weddings instead. And it's unfortunate because I'm a planner and I'm a vendor and I want people to have live in-person weddings, but I have to understand, as well as every other vendors, that people have different circumstances and it might just be the best viable option for some. My eighth prediction is that wedding venues might have actual changes that take place for them in terms of managing people. So they might actually upgrade their technology, right? So I see this happening in big convention centers and big chain hotels. I don't know if it's something that's viable for boutique hotels or boutique venues right now, mainly because I feel like it's gonna be really costly. I think they might start doing things that I've seen in Wuhan in China, and things that you're seeing that are coming out of places like Korea and Singapore, where they're having surveillance, temperature surveillance, temperature TSA on the people who enter the venues or enter the public places. And so I think that might be something that they might employ. I don't know. It would be strange. I don't know if our country will ever allow us to do it, but I think there is a liability or a caveat there that for wedding and event venues or convention centers, right, you have people who are drinking and eating and dancing. And I think that might be a little bit hard to kind of control who's having a fever, who's not, because your body weight, your body heat just naturally rises when you're drinking and having fun and screaming and dancing and all that stuff. So that might be something that is not going to make that really successful. My eighth prediction is that there's going to have to be stronger measures for sanitizing, for sanitary practices for venues, for caterers, for anybody, for hair and makeup artists, even anybody who's going to be in close proximity of other people. I feel like there's going to be stricter guidelines on how clean they can be, and even though they're clean already, they might have to be even cleaner. So I think that's going to be something that happens. My 10th prediction is I think that there's going to be a lot more digital meetings for your vendors. That you're going to, when people used to have like in-person meetings to meet their DJ or their photographers, I think all that's going to be happening via FaceTime or Zoom now. So I think that we're just all going to gravitate more towards online, and then we're going to have to be like, do we have to meet in person? And I think that will happen, for example, for your catering tasting and for your venue walkthrough, but your floral mock-up can happen online. So just so you know, my prediction for 11 is it's very obvious. I think people are going to downsize their budgets, and it's very clear there's a lot of economic pressure going on right now. And last thing you want to do is really think about one day as opposed to like a whole month or a whole year or a whole whatever, your whole house or something like that. So I think a lot of people are going to downsize their wedding budgets quite a bit, and that is a-okay. You have to do what's right for you. It's one day, so don't make this, don't feel really sad about having to downsize your budget. You have to take care of yourself. The 12th prediction is that I think that there's going to have to be a lot of changes for vendors in terms of pricing. I don't know exactly who, or I can't tell you, which vendor should be the ones who change things and which shouldn't, because we all do survive off of this. This is our jobs too, right? So I don't know what would be the best way to negotiate pricing with us, but I feel like vendors are going to be able to be like, hey, let's meet halfway, or it's going to be like a really like give and take kind of mentality right now, where we're just like going to be adjusting pricing in order to allow ourselves to keep or retain our clients, and also to make ourselves viable in the market. So I think, pricing might adjust. And then once, people flourish and we're able to have a nice, robust economy again, I think that there's going to be changes there. People might start getting more expensive, but I feel like for a little bit, for like a couple months even, you might see pricing change quite a bit. And for my last prediction, and it's a very obvious one, which is why I wanted to keep this one last. I think that a lot of people are going to have to reschedule their events. We're looking at, maybe a May opening, maybe a June opening, some people are saying like July, some people are saying November. All I know is that we are still here, and our summer might end up looking a little bit less busy than we had originally hoped. So you might see a lot of people who had to reschedule for April, May that are rescheduled to June. You might see June and July, have to be rescheduled to August, and you might see people rescheduled to next year. But we have to do what we can. We still want to have these really amazing life chapters happen and take place with people that we love, but we have to do so safely. And I think these are just going to have to be measures that we undergo in order for us to be able to confidently know that we're safe outside. So you guys, I hope you liked this video. I hope it was really helpful. I could be right, I could be wrong. And I hope that, honestly, I honestly hope that, this video completely is just wrong, just disregard it, and we're able to come back totally full swing and just be back to normal again. I would literally love that, but I know that we probably can't. We have to make changes now, and it's going to be something that really is permanent for us. These changes are probably going to be very permanent for us, and so I want you guys who are watching to understand that you might feel a little bit wary, you might feel a little overwhelmed, you might feel a little bit scared of what's going on and what's going to happen for your event. But there are people out there who are thinking about these measures. Planners, caterers, vendors out there who are trying to see what they can do, the tangible changes that they can make, and the action steps moving forward in order for them, for all of us, to be able to celebrate safely. And I'm really excited about that. So I hope you guys like this video. I hope it's helpful. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.